Been discussed here many times, the problems on the railway network in and around the port of Rotterdam. And then there was suddenly the final report that everybody was waiting for. The report is titled Non-Compliant by Coincidence or Not Predictably Unfit. And in this report, uncompromising conclusions are drawn on the why of the long-standing malfunctions of the infrastructure. Now, we have Pieter Hazejager from Captrain on the line. Pieter Hazejager, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mary.
Good afternoon. Pieter, have you already read the report?
Yes, I was one of the lucky ones to read it already before, as I was one of the ones in the steering group which have ordered Crisis Lab for producing this report. So yes, I've read it.
Okay, and can you, if you have to remember one thing that was entirely new to you, what would that be?
Well, one of the things what was new to me was basically that the investments ProRail have to make in order to comply to new regulations of the local authorities. The Veiligheidsregio Rotterdam, as an example, set up new compliances for ProRail, which already for next year means for them to invest, I think it was above 50 million euros. And of course, we all have to pay that. And as an example, what we see now, that we are not able to do the shunting on the Waalhaven because of non-compliances on the fiber installations over there, has an impact that for 0.000% chance of an accident, whereby now ProRail is paying a lot for a new installation and also a lot to us as customers as a compensation for all the problems we operationally have. And that was really new to me, and I think it's also a good statement to the ministry in order to change that if possible.
Yeah, you said you'll be compensated for all the losses you had at the emplacement yard Waalhaven. Are those also the compensations that you asked for?
No, partly. This is the whole Harbour Line is a problem, and that is basically what we as customers from ProRail already said for many years. That was not new in the report from Crisis Lab. But the fact that the compensation we get now is mainly because of the Waalhaven. So we call that the Waalhaven compensations. But we have many other topics on the Harbour Line. Switches which are very old, border crossings, the railway crossings which are basically not working properly. Sand on the Maasvlakte, which is giving us a lot of hassle to enter important terminals. So yeah, we have a lot of other issues as well. That's also mentioned in the report. And we have now said, okay, we need to have, and we agreed already with the ministry to get this compensated. So it's a part of the whole package deal we prefer to get. Yeah.
Yeah, and what is the part that is not being responded to?
Excuse me?
You said it's part of the things you were asking for. What is the part that where you're not compensated?
No, we are not compensated for all the other topics we have on the Harbour Line. As the examples I just mentioned, we hardly get any compensation for that. The ministry has now acknowledged, okay, we have so many problems. We have already claimed so many stuff to ProRail, which is extremely difficult to get that compensated. It's a difficult story, but that's a legal an issue. But we have now reached an agreement to look for more general compensations for this Harbour Line problems, because also for the next coming years that we need to restructure and to exchange new switches and new parts will also have a huge impact on our productions.
And what kind of impact do you mean? Which impact do you think this will have?
No, yeah, exactly. As an example, they need to change, I think, already on the Waalhaven 70 switches, and that will have a lot of problems for us because that can only be done when we are not riding trains, and we are a 24/7 operation. So that will have an impact.
And are there any alternative routes in place, or is there a plan for this?
No, that's the problem. It's one line from Zee to Zevenaar, from the sea to the Zevenaar. Everything to Keivoek is only one big line. And we have, of course, then regions where we can comply. But if you need to go to one like the Maasvlakte, you have to. There are no alternatives to do that. So we need to make sure that there are certain periods that they have to work. We understand that they have to do the maintenance and the replacements of the tracks and the switches, etc. But that will have a significant impact. So for the next coming years, it will be a problem. Plus that what we already experienced the last year, which is partly compensated.
So we're not there yet. That is for sure. Does this report give you an answer to the why question? Why this was happening?
Well, that's a little bit difficult because you would say it is a money thing, but that apparently was not. That is an organizational problem. That do not surprise me. And I think that is the answer on everything. It has to do with culture. It has to do by understanding your customers. ProRail needs to understand the customers. And if you say, okay, we have a completely other business model and other business strategy, like for instance the passenger traffic, and I think that needs to be changed. That's also recommended. So understand your customers, spend more time, focus on especially this Harbour Line, and that's also one of the recommendations. And that's also one of the things that the board of ProRail acknowledged, and is already started to implement.
Yeah, and does this help you in any way that this report was here?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it gives us acknowledgement. I mean, of course, it's not nice if you as a customer all the time are telling ProRail that the things are not in place. ProRail gets, of course, also annoyed. You're so difficult, you cargo guys. But now it has been clearly acknowledged, I think. And that is for us as the sector, and at least for me, definitely a help. It's not about the money, because we lost a lot of money, all of us, the whole sector. We need to grow, and basically for the next, ProRail has indicated will take another 4 years before we are in place. But especially the next 2 years, when the physical job has to be done, will definitely give hassle and will not help in order to get more business on the tracks, unfortunately.
Yeah. Now you have gone a long way in fighting this, or at least bringing this to the attention. Do you feel like you and ProRail got closer in this regard?
Yes, I think yes. The trust is there. The trust now in the new management in top give us trust, but we have to see. For 10 years, there are always promises. Yes, we will change. I always say it has to start in top of the tree. In this case, with Hans Rikstra, for instance, and John Foppe. They clearly try to look to find the connection with us. I think that's good. But of course, we will closely monitor the situation, and that's good. We are in good negotiation or a good relation with each other now, and hopefully we can continue this because they started already a year ago. This cooperation, and I have faith that could succeed and that we will come closer to each other. Yes.
Yeah. Just, we hope not, but let's imagine that things go wrong and you see that things are not happening according as planned. Do you think you have the right tools now or the right ways to communicate or address these problems?
Let's hope that's not the case. At the moment, that we do not see any improvements, because that's basically what we need to see. Not only the physical improvements on the tracks. As an example, I think 2 weeks ago I was driving there at night, and then I saw, I think, of 4 different locations people working, and that I've never seen before. So I think they are really on the physical part. They are really doing things now. That's good. It have to be done. It will of course take a while before you see trust and before you can see the improvements and customers get the trust back. That is, I mean, we are just a transporter, with all respect. Our customers, the industry, they also need to get this trust back. That takes time, and we are all, including ProRail, aware of that. At the moment that things are not going right, then of course we will also talk to the ministry. But I assume now that the ministry will not let that happen, and I even don't think that ProRail will let this happen. I think it's a wise lesson for them.
Yeah. One last thing. If you could speak to your customers right now, what would your main message be?
Yes, well, our customers at this moment are very hesitating to find the trust, and that is the key word at this moment. We need to get the trust back of our customers. That can help at the moment that the situation stabilizes, and that the tracks are running normally again. At this, I think you will see then immediately the change. I think rail is the future. We all want that. There is political willingness. That has been not always the case, but we all have problems with the climate. We all have problems with the traffic jams. This is the way forward. So rail is a good modality in order to help. So on that side, everything is on the green, but the Harbour Line is still red. And I hope this can be orange the next 2 years. Let's aim after 2024 that it is green and that it remains green. And then I think we have a good opportunity to grow to the 63 or the 65 million tons we all would like to have the coming years.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us, and good luck with that.